Where should I start looking?
Straight to the point. I like that. We know for a fact the silver must be getting lost somewhere on its way to the mint. That means it would be best to discreetly inspect all operations and find out where the problem is. First of all, you should ask miners from every shift how many corves they mine in a day. After that, we'll compare the numbers to the mine record books and see.
But the yields aren't the same every day, right?
True. That's why we have to focus on one particular day. For example, the other day, on the Feast of St. Petronilla, Foreman Fett was beaming and bragging to me about how much it helped. Mined out.
Couldn't I just ask Fett?
Fett's job is to count the corves and write the amount down in the mine book. He won't tell you any other number. We're interested in what the miners themselves have to say. They've no reason to hide anything. Nevertheless, the miners are a strange bunch. They might not be very forthcoming at first, and they have an odd way of speaking. Like, calling each other Sonny, however old they are. But you'll hear for yourself. You should pretend to be really interested in them, and maybe they'll open up to you. You could be a scholar writing a treatise on silver mining. Or perhaps a nobleman interested in buying a mine. Or just say I'm your distant uncle who's initiating you into the ins and outs of my job. It's up to you.
I reckon I could pose as a curious scholar.
Suit yourself. Just don't change your story so you don't arouse suspicion. But to the point, each day 3 shifts work in the shaft. Each has its foreman, or gaffer, as they say. The first shift is led by Frank, the second by Paul, and the third by Samko. You'll have to ask each one of them how many corves they mine. Samko's hewers should be off work now. You'll find the other 2 shifts in the mine. Take this, so the guards will let you in. It's a letter of safe conduct bearing my seal, allowing you free movement within the mine.
And what are you gonna do?
I'll return to the estate to do my job. What else? I reckon they must be wondering where I am by now. Once you find out how many corves the 3 shifts mined on the Feast of St. Petronilla, return to me. We'll compare that number to the entry in the mine book. And don't forget, don't draw attention.
Who owns the silver that's mined here?
All the silver in the Kingdom of Bohemia belongs to the king, whether it's above ground or still below it. Though I'm sure you understand, the king has a lot on his mind, and he can't be expected to worry about mining. So he leases out the mining rights to his tenants. It's called the Burgergal. There's a lot of money in it. The tenants have to pay the king, and the king also receives a share of the pure silver from the smelting works. That's the royal tithe.
What is this path of silver, anyway?
It's the whole process, from digging the silver ore out of the ground and processing it, to minting silver coins. Silver is found in ore veins underground. The pitmen mine it and get it to the surface. The chief foreman of a gallery counts the corves, and the assayer estimates the purchase price of the ore for the smelter. The raw ore goes to the smelter, where it's crushed in a stamp mill before it can be purified by roasting. Roasted ore goes to the furnaces, where it's smelted into raw and then pure silver. Silver is then cast into rods about as thick as your little finger.
Can any silver get lost?
It can. And unfortunately, it does happen. It may be a capital offence, but even that won't deter everyone. Most often, a pitman tries to smuggle pieces of ore under his clothes. It doesn't end well. Nevertheless, the entire path of the silver, from the ore beneath the ground to minted coins, is closely guarded. Every step is recorded in the books, so if someone is stealing large quantities, they must have it pretty damn well figured out.
Who checks the royal share?
The Royal Mintmaster and his subordinates are responsible for collecting the royal share. That also means me and the shaft foreman. That is why every step of the path of silver is monitored and recorded, starting with how much ore is mined. The smelting works owners don't have to be monitored as closely, since they buy the ore from us. It's in their best interest to get the highest possible yield after deducting the royal share.
Who makes money from all this?
The thing is, everyone does. Pitmen get paid for mining in the shaft. Mine operators get paid for raw ore. The smelters then smelt everything, sell the pure silver, and deduct the raw tithe. The silver rubs off on the hands of anyone who even touches it. But there's still enough left over for the king.